This is actually her. Like, this is no joke. Like, I walked in the room and I was like, oh my gosh, that's her. And she was like, hey, how are you doing? Like, this is her. So that was not just stage talk there. Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good.
What a beautiful crowd. Oh.
Amazing crowd.
Yes.
I'm going to be respectful for everybody's time. I know we had a little bit of an introduction, but I just want to read a few things from what was sent and my own research here. Designer, CEO, philanthropist Kendra Scott started her company in 2002, just 3 months after her first son was born. Yes, with just $500 basically in her pocket, going door to door, selling wholesale to boutiques. She did a startup business that is now a billion-dollar business, to put this all into perspective. Yep. They operate out of Austin, Texas. I'm sorry, I'm going to do some arranging here.
It's like our family room.
It is.
You know?
It is.
With just a lot of seating.
But I need wine. We talked about the 3 pillars already. So far, the company has given back more than $30 million to local, national, and international causes.
Yes.
Above all that, there is a litany of awards and accolades that I could go deep into, but you guys have phones, you have Google, so I'll let you do that on your own time. One of the things that we talked about was family.
Yes.
She has 3 sons, one who's turning 18 next month.
November.
Yes. A 15-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Yes.
Just to give you a little bit more perspective, Kendra started this company, as we mentioned, when she had her first child, who was just 3 months old at the time. Her first marriage, she got divorced.
Yep.
Her children were 1 and 3, and she was starting a business through all this, growing a business at that point.
I don't recommend that, but that wasn't the plan, you know, things just kind of happen.
Above all else, I think what I have discovered in the last hour or so, or getting to know her, is that she's mom first.
Yes.
She has 2 babies, though. She has her family baby and her business baby.
And they call me Mama K.
Mama K, the company, yes. Everyone knows her as Mama K in the company.
Yes.
Speaking of which, can you point out your family? Because I did not get a chance.
They're all right here.
Can you
and
wave
so my
your
best
hands?
friends in the whole world, my godmother, my aunts. I mean, it's unbelievable. My mama. Yes. Pretty special.
And you mentioned something very funny in the hallway. Your mom says to people.
Yeah, well, she says, I actually birthed Kendra Scott. So when, she's like takes the credit for birthing the company, so yes, good job, Mom. But she was, she was my first, I'd say employee, but she actually didn't get paid for a while. And we're making up for it, Mom. She was really inexpensive labor, and she would come over, and our first few orders, I was still in my house, like shipping orders. And we would come and ticket and card and pack on my dining room table, and UPS would pick it up at our front step. So she was employee number 2, and she still is part of the Kendra Scott corporate family as well. So pretty amazing.
Hats off to Mom.
Yes.
I'm a fan of your jewelry. I love the simple sophistication of it, and that it can be dressed up and dressed down. And I know those are things that are overused, but really, your aesthetic, your design is completely that. For those
today, remember we were in the back, and one of the sweet girls who are working here, she said, I wore these earrings on my wedding, and she was wearing them today. And I was like, how cool is, there you are. And I was so excited, because I was like, she wore it for the biggest day of her life. She chose Kendra Scott, and she can wear it for every day thereafter.
See?
It was amazing. You're like the perfect example. It was so exciting.
Meanwhile, my messy behind showed up all organized in my head. Oh, I know which ones I'm going to wear. They're black drop earrings. I go into the jewelry drawer, and I'm like, there's one earring in here. I have no idea.
Did you? So you know why? So at Kendra Scott, we have something called the sister rule. We treat our customers like our sisters. So if your sister lost one of her earrings, what would you do? Well, I'd give her 50% off a new pair. So bring in your one earring, your lone earring, and we'll give you 50% off, so you don't have to be sad. Yeah.
Guess what I'm doing tomorrow before work?
Now you guys are all going to be like, oh, I lost an earring, and I can see what's going to happen. This big trend is going to happen here. No, it's okay.
Why don't we start off with this? For those who aren't as familiar with the brand, just give a brief summary of the Kendra Scott brand.
Yeah, so I think, you've summarized the early days. The first business I had was a hat company, actually, that I started when I was 19. And I had a little hat shop, and I was convinced that the whole world was going to wear hats again. And it was going to be like 1940. How many of you are wearing a hat today? Yep, you can see what happened with that business. So 5 years into working day and night, 7 days a week, every holiday, it just wouldn't work. And, I had to close it. And one of the reasons I wanted to get in hats was my stepfather had brain cancer. And I met so many women that had been undergoing chemotherapy and losing their hair, and hats were a way that made them feel beautiful when they put them on. And I really was hopeful that this was going to be my thing. I had dropped out of college to do this business, and after 5 years, it failed. And I had also lost my stepfather. And it was one of those points where you're just like, I have failed everyone. I don't have a college degree now. I have a failed business. The reason I had started this business for my stepfather, he's gone. It was just kind of one of those dark moments. And I think, in retrospect, when I look back at those little it was called the hat box, I'm so thankful because it was the best education I could have ever had in retail. It was Retail 101. I learned what I needed to do in the future, but more importantly, what not to do. I learned a lot of the not to do's. And it really did set me up for, in 2002, and I was actually pregnant, so it was 2001, and I was pregnant with my first son, and I loved jewelry. I loved colored gemstones, natural, semi-precious stones, but everything I wanted, I couldn't find that I could afford. And I thought, why isn't there more quality product, but that's attainable for women? It was either super cheap, like, I'm not gonna name any names, but it rhymes with bears in the mall, and it was things would fall apart after you'd wear them, or it was really high end and it was something I couldn't afford. And I felt like there was white space missing. But again, this time I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to build this massive company. I had a newborn son, and I wanted to be present for him. I wanted to be the best mom I could be. And if I could create a company that allowed me to be able to be with him, that would be success. And after Rob died, I realized I also wanted to leave a mark. And he really imprinted on me that, you have a very short time on this earth. And while you're here, you need to do something good. And you need to use your gifts to leave a positive impact. And so when I started out of my bedroom, it really was those three things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a present mother. I wanted to be in fashion because that's what I've loved since I was young. And I wanted to do something good for my community. And that ended up being a foundation that is now built into this big brand. But it wasn't, again, I didn't write a big plan to build $1 billion fashion empire. I just really, those were the simple, that would be success if I was able to do those three things.
Now, you said you had a background and really a passion for fashion and design.
Yes.
And there's someone at this table over here that
Aunt Jo.
can take credit for that. Give us a little bit of background on Aunt Jo here.
So Aunt Jo, well, first of all, she's unbelievable. You have to meet this woman. She's unbelievable. But she actually lived here in Milwaukee, and she was fashion director at Gimbel's. And I don't know if any of you remember Gimbel's department store. Yep. And she would go to all the shows. She'd go to Milan and Paris, and she would take all the pictures of all the runway shows. And she had these slides. We're dating ourselves, Aunt Jo, but it was slides, and you would click the slides and they'd project on the wall. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly.
People that are the millennials, they're like, what does she speak of? What is this? This crazy technology. But she would go and she would show me slides, and she would show, be like, I have to take the trends and translate them for the everyday woman. So, this is back in the 80s, and she'd be like, honey, what do you keep seeing? I'd be like, shoulder pads and plaid, or whatever it was, And she was teaching me, and I realized then, and I don't know if she even knew it then, what trend forecasting looked like and how you start to see things that are repetitive in trends. And then also how she made it accessible for every woman to be able to look like a runway model in Milan. And going to her, she had this fabulous apartment on Wall Avenue. And we would go into her closet, and she would just let me put on all of her clothes, like Carolina Herrera jackets and all her jewelry, and I'd put makeup on. And I mean, I would walk around that apartment like right? True. I did. And I felt like it didn't matter where you come from or what you do. Fashion was magic to me. You could be anyone you wanted to be. And I just loved it, and I admired her so much. She was a single mom. She worked so hard. She did internationally flying. But she was always such a great mother to my cousin, such a great aunt to me, and I think that was such a great role model, but I knew she gave me the fashion bug.
All right, and how has, we know the immediate family influence as far as Wisconsin is concerned, but how has your Wisconsin upbringing influenced you, the business, your design, your creative process?
It is such a huge part of who I am. I was, born in Kenosha, Wisconsin, lived in Wisconsin till I was 16, and then moved to Texas with my mom. And, it was here, I say my mom, she was raised on a farm in southern Illinois. Her family, her brothers, they would work in the fields during the day, and then they would mine in the coal mines at night. And my mom grew up in a little farmhouse with no running water. She would actually go and pump water from a well at 4 a.m. to have water for that day. It was like Little House on the Prairie, folks. It
Again,
was
millennials are like, what are you talking
And she went to they're like, this is, but
it's one of my favorite shows. We'll just put that out there.
But when, we would go to the farm every summer, and I would get on the combines with my uncles, and I would see how hard my grandmother was working to serve these unbelievable meals for everybody. And it's like, when you see that, that's hard work. That's what hard work looks like. But there's so much love. And I think the other big lesson we learned is that there was always another seat at the table. There was always room for more, even when their family may have been struggling at times. They would never turn anyone away. And those values and watching that firsthand and seeing family, what family meant, and it doesn't always mean that it's your blood family. It could be a neighbor in need or a friend. We always had room at the table. And I just think that's such a big part of this Midwest values. And I feel like people here, you'll hear things go, oh, salt of the earth. It is salt of the earth. I think there's something about the people in this community. And I will meet Midwesterners. And I'm a little biased, but even like when I hire a Midwesterner, I get so excited. I'm like, you're from the Midwest. I'm like, where are you from? And so our new CMO that we just hired, she is from Milwaukee, and I'm so excited. So we've got a lot of Midwesterners at Kendra Scott. Yeah.
Why don't we talk about, where does your entrepreneurial spirit come from? Now, you mentioned another seat at the table, so
yes.
It sounds like that all together.
Yeah, I think, again, I've had such amazing role models. I remember very clearly, so my mom, moved from Little House on the Prairie. We moved to Kenosha, and she is one of the smartest, sharpest ladies I know. And she got into Mary Kay Cosmetics. And I will never forget her starting this business out of our little, kind of was a mudroom, right? Would you call it a mudroom? Kind of. I don't know. That wasn't really a thing back then. People didn't have mudrooms. It was a little side room. Mm-hmm. And she had a shelf with her inventory, and I remember, all the boxes arrived, and I'd fill orders. One of my best friends, Janet, her mom was also a Mary Kay consultant, and our moms would just go out there literally door to door. And they started recruiting other women, and then my mom became a director, and we refitted our basement with makeup mirrors and lights, and she would do all these shows, and the women would come, and no joke, they'd be in our basement, and I'd be sitting at the top of the stairs, listening, and my mom would be like, okay, ladies, let's start singing. I've got that Mary Kay enthusiasm, and they're singing, I'm like, oh my God, and these women, right? And I'm like, this is amazing. And and she's showing them how to put makeup on. And then we'd go to deliver orders. And I'd get in her and she got a pink car, okay? And she would get so dolled up to deliver the orders. And I'm like, Mom, why don't you just you're just delivering products. You're not, she's like, oh no. You always,
deliver the product.
You look the way you should look. You're a lady, you have to look this way. But it was so amazing to me because that is entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. And what Mary Kay did is say, you can be a mother, and she was the most present mother. Have dinner on the table, cookies when we got home. But she was also building this business, a very successful business, out of our house. And I think it's companies like Mary Kay that have paved the way to say, you can have it all. And they also paved the way to say, and we can give you a balanced, happy life. And it shouldn't have to be one way or another. And all of those experiences have really built the Kendra Scott brand. I mean, we have over 2,200 employees, 96% are women, and many of them are moms, and we're supporting them, yeah.
I'm going to take care of just 2 housekeeping things. And if anyone's been to events that I've been to before, that I've emceed before, I am a note taker. So if I'm ever looking away from her, it's because I'm taking notes. A lot of times it's for my own personal gain.
I don't get anything to, I'll just look at my, glasses.
And then also I'm keeping time on my watch because if anyone knows David Caruso, who's put on today's event, he is a stickler for staying on time. So if you see me looking at my watch, it's not at all because I'm bored, okay?
He's like, is this over yet? Oh my gosh.
I think you probably said a lot of the advice in explaining your business, the setup, 96% of being females, but yes. I guess what advice would you give to other female entrepreneurs?
I think first of all, being a woman, we have a huge advantage. And it's hard sometimes to hear that when a lot of doors can sometimes be slammed in our faces and we're told no. But we have instinct, we have a gut instinct that's like that woman thing in us that can really tell you if someone you're around is good or bad, or you get that fight or flight instinct, and I say we should use that. The other amazing thing is we have compassion. And I love being a leader that has compassion, and that you can be strong, but you can be kind. And you don't have to have one or the other. And I think that's a huge advantage for women because you can understand your workforce, you can connect with them in a compassionate way. And I think that's a brilliant thing. Now look, we'll walk into rooms for probably many years to come and no one will look like us in the room. And in that first 5 to 10 minutes, you've got to prove yourself and you have to show them who you are. But then get ready to just blow them away. And that's what I get excited for. I mean, sometimes it's a challenge, but I think women like this that are standing together, those days are changing. And I hope our daughters, our granddaughters will start to walk into boardrooms where the majority of the people in there look just like them.
Following up on that question, I guess, can you tell me what advice would you give men who are in the room right now that hear that message loud and clear?
We're coming for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
That's not where I was leading that, just for the record.
No, I'm totally kidding. I'm not.
I see you right here. He's sweating right over your shoulder here.
No, actually, I have to say, we are so blessed to have so many amazing men that lift women up every day. And it is the men and the women that work together to make sure that this world is a more equal and fair place for everyone. And so I'm so thankful to the amazing men, like my father in my life, who has told me from the time I was a little girl that you can be anything you want to be. And that's the message we need to send to every child, male or female. And then, I look at like my husband and what is supportive, loving. He's my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan. And I think we have these amazing people in our life. I'm raising my sons to respect women and to understand that they're equal and to be kind and still be gentlemen. I think that's another big important thing is that just because women are kind, we all need to be kind and thoughtful to one another. And that should never change.
Is there a specific moment that you think of when it dawned on you that you made it, that this was pedal to the metal, this was no longer the card table in the spare bedroom,
yes.
That it was, we need...
She's talking, my mom, when I first started my business out of my bedroom, I had a bead board and a bunch of tools, I don't even know, and a thing, and my mom came up, she's like, oh honey, you need more space. So she brought me a card table. That was my first desk. And I had and then I had like a few orders up on the board. But yeah, we've come a long way, Mom, since the card table, that's for sure.
And what was that moment, the turning moment where you're like, I've started to build something, and then all of a sudden you open a store, and then it's...
I think when you're in it, and as a lot of entrepreneurs in this room, you're head down just working every day and you're solving problems. And I think as entrepreneurs, we're put with obstacles every single day that we have to figure out how to either maneuver around or hurdle over. And so when you're in it, you're not thinking of like, oh, I'm successful. It's like, I got to build this next store and I got to have that store make money. And I had no financing for 10 years. I did it on lines of credit and credit card debt. I didn't have anyone, that just wrote me a big old check and said, oh, go build a brand. It wasn't like that. So everything I did, I had to be able to reinvest to continue to build the company. And I was a single mom for a lot of that time. So failure was really scary because I did have everything I owned up for collateral on these loans. So it was a lot of just being in it. And I honestly don't know if I feel like, oh, I've made it. I think there's so much I want to continue to do. And I feel like, just like what Rob said, is we have a limited time on this earth, and I just want to do as much as I can, and I see what we're doing. Like I remember in the early days, we'd be stressing to pack an order for Nordstrom or something. There was only like 10 of us at the time. And I'd tell the girls, don't stress, it's not like we're curing cancer, okay? Like we're just sending jewelry out. It's gonna be okay, we'll work through it. This year and last year, we've already given almost $800,000 to breast cancer research. This year, we have a $275,000 breast cancer research grant. Now we walk into work and we go, you guys, we might actually have a hand in helping solve breast cancer. I mean, that's where we're like, it's so amazing. It's so amazing.
All right, this is the part where we're going to take a little quick break. We're going to go ahead and have everybody watch a video. We're gonna launch immediately into the philanthropy. I'm gonna come back to some business talk though at some point. But I think one of the most amazing things in our discussion backstage in the green room area was that Kendra is about to move into a new home, and it's been a 4-year process.
Yes.
But this is the part that like gave me chills. I've always said like, I want to be stupid rich, not because I just want all the money, but because I want to do things like this. And this was the most brilliant home build I have ever heard of. So can you explain?
Well, we built it to do nonprofit events. I mean, it was designed to be able to help our community. And so down to the lawn, we've got a tent that'll be built so that we can just host these events and give the space back, because so many, as we know, nonprofits, they don't have the money for venue space and all of these other things. So if we can donate that, it's pretty spectacular, and it makes a home, that much more special.
So outside I'm smiling, inside I'm like, what? And I'm like, that's amazing. So let's talk about this. More than 8,000 fundraising and awareness events. We saw the numbers up there. The volunteer hours, 5 million donated annually. Philanthropy is a large part of your business. In fact, one of your 3 core values. Why do you feel that it is crucial?
It's our brand, and it started that way out of my extra bedroom. I decided, after the hat box, that if anyone would call, any nonprofit that needed help, that I would always have something to give. I could make a pair of earrings for a silent auction, I could make a necklace, and I wasn't gonna turn anybody away. Even, when it was struggling for myself to build the business, that it was something I could do then. Today, we're almost 18 years later, and we still don't say no. We figure out ways to help. And we'll do everything from a large organization like Breast Cancer Research Foundation to local organizations, which we talked about growing up in Kenosha, small towns. I realized a lot of times it's the local charities, the ones that are in the community doing the most work, but get the least amount of recognition and support. And so we really wanted to help with that. And then we'll even help a friend in need. We host Kendra Gives Back events in our stores. Right now, probably this week, I bet there's over 100 events going on. Some of those could be for a friend of yours that may have hospital bills they need help with. And we really will go down to that level. And I think that connection that we've built with our customers over the years, it's much more than just product. We are involved in their lives, and we care about the things that matter to them. And I think, when you have that, thinking about connection before transaction, that's what we've always done at Kendra Scott. And a lot of people that run retail businesses or businesses in general think there's no way you can build a business like that. Like, how are you going to ever grow? And you're giving all this stuff away. Are you nuts? And I love it when people tell me that I'm crazy and I can't do something. I get like super excited. I'm like, oh, tell me again, I can't do it. I'm like, yes, so good. But it wasn't, I think that's the thing for us. It was always about doing something that was right. And we make connections every day. And I never had to worry about revenue when we focused on what was important. And I think more companies in general, if they stop looking at just the bottom line and start looking at what matters, they too could be sitting here talking to you.
No, don't to me.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you. Talk more about your Kendra Cares program, the inspiration behind that. I think you probably answered most of it in that.
Well, MD Anderson, gave us the most amazing gift to our family. They gave us the gift of time with Rob that we didn't think we were going to have. And those days and years were so precious to us. And so the hospital became a very special place for me. We started they opened a whole new pediatric cancer center that I got to go visit. And when I was there, I just noticed that getting moments of not thinking about cancer or not thinking about that you're sick, just moments of joy and feeling a little bit of just normalcy was important. And so I asked, is it okay if I bring my color bar to the hospital and let the patients make a piece of jewelry for themselves, and it'll be my gift? And MD Anderson said, great. So we did a pop-up, and it was unbelievable because it wasn't just the kids. They were making things for their moms who had been sitting by their bedside, and they felt so happy to be giving this to their mother, or their favorite nurse that had been taking such great care of them. And I knew then that we needed to build this bigger. And so I asked MD Anderson, I said, look, you are the best in the world. Will you help me build this program? So for 2 years, we worked to make it perfect. And we're now in 31 hospitals across the country. So it's really exciting. Yeah.
Can you describe the vision behind your national giving campaign, partnering with organizations whose outstanding results improve health, drive innovation, and create opportunity?
Yeah, look, I'm a women-owned business. I'm a mom. And so children's and women's organizations and empowerment, education, and health really matter to me. And when I look out at my team, 2,200, 96% of them are women, and I think 1 in 8 could get diagnosed with breast cancer. 1 in 3 may have heart disease. Those numbers scare me because these are the people I love. And so when you have that, you want to do something about it. And we want to do something about it. And so we have now a megaphone. It started out really tiny, and now we have the ability through our amazing boots on the ground, local teams, to get out there and really help and make a difference. And I think for us, that's our drive. All of us at Kendra Scott, we wake up every day and we love the products we design. We want to surprise and delight our customer, but we are driven because of our purpose, which is really making an impact in the community.
And you just started a new venture, just launched
yes,
in Texas.
So in Texas, University of Texas, last week we announced the Kendra Scott Entrepreneurial and Leadership Institute, which is so exciting. Yeah, so exciting. And I always say you don't have to be in business school to be in business. And I wanted to create an opportunity that went through every school, every major, to say, if you're in the School of Education, why can't you be the superintendent of schools someday? Come on, girls, let's give you the leadership ability to really think high and have an entrepreneurial mindset. You don't need to be an entrepreneur or own a business to have an entrepreneurial mindset. An entrepreneurial mindset is saying, I know where I want to go, and there are going to be things that get in my way. And just like we talked about earlier, but an entrepreneurial mindset says, how am I getting around that hurdle? How do I get around that thing that's saying no? And you've got to think of the word no as on. That's what it is in the mirror. So when you see no in the mirror, you go on. Except for my teenage sons, no means no. But I look at no, and I think, I've had so many buyers I've called and be like, hi, I'm Kendra Scott. I'd love to show you my products. No. Oh, well, good. I'm glad we had a conversation. I'm going to send you another line list next season and some cupcakes, and I'll call you back. And I kept going, and these people, I just wouldn't give up. It could be borderline stalker, but, and I had one buyer go, Kendra, if you send me more cupcakes, like I've gained 6 pounds because of you, I will see your jewelry line just so you stop sending the cupcakes, you know? But that's what it takes sometimes, you know, persistence. But that's the entrepreneurial mindset. It's like you can't, if the first time somebody tells you no and you just give up, the first store I went to at that tea box, the lady said no. And I had the baby in a baby Bjorn. Like, what kind of person? You know, I brought the greatest prop.
All you needed was a puppy.
I mean, really, I'm like, you're turning down a lady with a baby, but then the next store, and I had that in that moment, I remember getting back in the car, putting him in his car seat, like the whole drama of it, my little jewelry box and, you know, a tea box full of jewelry, sitting there and going, okay, should I just go home? If I had just gone home, I wouldn't be sitting here. And I got the courage to drive to another store, get the baby back in the baby Bjorn, you know, and she wrote an order, so yeah.
What's next for Kendra Scott?
You know, I think it's so exciting because I do feel like this is just the beginning. I am hopeful that I'm building something that my children, my grandchildren will be proud of. And we want to continue to do a lot of good, a lot of great things. I love surprising and delighting my customers. I always say every day I go into the stores at least once a week. And I learn from them. I ask my customer, what do you want? What do you want more of? What do you need? I'm never going to just put my name on products for the sake of doing that, which I think a lot of lifestyle brands have fallen into. I'm going to listen to my customer and find out what she wants, and that's what we're going to continue to deliver. You know, we've got so many exciting nonprofit events coming up, so if you guys are not on our mailing list, please do, because we have events going on for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so many fun ways for community to get together, not just in our stores, but even outside of our stores. We love to have people come in. Again, we don't care if you leave with a yellow bag. We want you to leave with a smile and meet friends and come for community. You know, in the world of Amazon, there's a lot of competition, right? Of like how the world is shopping and buying things. But we're humans, and we are always going to require a human touch. And that is one thing you will always get at Kendra Scott.
Sorry, I'm adjusting clock. Here we go.
She's not bored.
I'm not bored. With that being said, and I know we tease about the millennials in the room and not knowing what Laura Ingalls Wilder in the show was or whatever, but I will say
I feel like it's on rerun. It's Little House.
It is. Yeah. I would think.
I love Laura Ingalls.
Is that I think that's one of the things in this day and age that millennials do have nailed, is that they're looking for that experience. They're looking for ways to give back. They're looking for, although the necklace is a material thing, to know that it impacted somewhere else and that you had an experience at like a color bar to discover those types of things. So I want to give props to the millennials in there. I know we make fun of, but it's very true. And I wish more people thought that way.
But you know what it is? I think it's generational, right? Because the values that were instilled in me and the thoughts of giving back, those are continuing to grow into our the young people. Now I can say that now that I'm like getting up there in age. But I think
I don't know what lotions and potions she's using, but I don't know what she means by getting up there in age, because this is magic.
It's thank you, contour. I don't know why they did something.
It's Alyssa wherever she is.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? I think it's just so important that we remember, you know, as women, and you're in this amazing room, and there are men, wonderful men that are brave enough to be with these strong women, is to hold hands and to support each other. We have enough that is going against us. And when a group of women hold hands and join forces and align on a vision, they are unstoppable. And I think if we can take one thing from today, this group will be unstoppable. Help each other, ask for help, mentor each other, give each other best practices. We are competing against the world. So the people that are in your own community together, all you should be doing is rooting for one another and celebrating each other's successes.
All right. We only have a few minutes left. We have two questions from local entrepreneurs, and I'm going to start with Kylie Peters because I have a funny backstory. There she is. That's her. Brainchild Studios here. I invited Kylie to lunch probably 6+ months ago at this point.
I love this story.
And I drove in from Delafield after wrestling with my dog to get him in the crate, got all the way down there, parked in the 3rd ward. I was like, whew, all right, I'm only like 2 minutes late, which to me, that's on time. Do you see
Yes.
why I anchor the news? Because I have to
Yes.
be in the same place at the same time every day, or
Yeah.
I would lose a job. And I said, okay, I get in the car, I get out of the car, I look at my seat, my purse is not there.
Kylie ended up buying her lunch.
Kylie bought me lunch. So I am telling everyone in the
Kylie?
room, I still owe Kylie.
She forgot her purse, Kylie.
I did. Kylie has her own business. She's got all the money. Kylie from Brainchild Studio says, how did you know when it was time to scale, and what steps did you take to do so?
So I think it's really interesting. I think it's important to know your strengths. There's a great book by Marcus Buckingham that's called Now Discover Your Strengths. And he has you go through your day and the things that you're doing in your business of what you love and loathe. He's British, which makes it even better. That's where the loathe comes in. And you write down the things that you love about what you're doing every day and the things that you loathe. And it really is identifying your strengths, and then more importantly, identifying your weaknesses and hiring around those weaknesses. Don't hire people that are just like you. Now, they need to have your core values. They need to share your heart, but they need to have different skill sets. And when you build a team of a diversity like that with a variety of skill sets, what my loathe is what they love. And when we can each do what we love, everyone's doing what they love, that's when you start to scale and really are able to maximize. Because the more time I'm spending on the things I'm great at, the better our company is. If you're having me do Excel spreadsheets, that is a real big waste of my time. My company, they still lock them to send to me because they're afraid I'll screw them up. That is not my strength. That is not my strength. And I've identified, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good. I have people that love Excel, and I'm so thankful for them. But I think that's one of the best things you can do. And again, not being afraid to ask for help. I am waking up every day running a company bigger than it was the night before. I've got to be able to get on the phone with entrepreneurs, and they don't even need to be in your industry. So many industries, it doesn't have to be like, I don't need to call a fashion person to understand how to run this business. A lot of business principles are the same in diversity. So you're like, hey, you went through this. I know you did brought in investment capital. I'm going through this. Can we have lunch? Can we talk about what you went through? And I think being vulnerable enough to ask for help is the greatest sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness.
All right. David's giving me the rap sign, but I'm going to be greedy because I'm going to do one quick question. So we'll try to keep. Look at he's
Sorry,
going
David.
to throw his headset at me.
Do you guys want one more question?
All right.
Okay.
I love this one because I have been known to clap back appropriately to viewers when they say things that are not so nice.
Oh, okay.
How do you or did you deal with criticism? This is from Melissa Gaglione. Did I say your name? Where's Melissa? Did I say your name right?
Oh, hi, Melissa.
Gaglione, safety for her. She's also a local entrepreneur. So
I'm sorry my back is to you right now.
okay. How did you deal with criticism?
Well, you deal
I'll
with,
set a
I
timer.
think,
You
okay,
got a minute and a half.
as you start to climb up hills, there's a lot of people that want to knock you down. And I think, I have a very small group of friends. One of my best friends that I went to kindergarten with is in this room tonight. And those are the people. You need to surround yourself with good people who know who you are and who see who you are and remind you of who you are. Because if you let the criticism and the naysayers and the ones that tell you you can't do it and you won't be able to do it and you're not going to, if you let those voices and those people win, you're right. But when you look at them and say, you don't know me, and you can say whatever you want to say, but you don't know me, and I know that I have people in my life that know me. And they'll also call me out if I'm not behaving right. They'll be like, oh, Missy, you're getting a little big for your britches there, But it's so important.
That was very Midwest. You're getting too big for your britches.
It was very Midwest. But it's true, and I think you don't need to have 100 friends. Mm-hmm. You have enough on this one hand that really love you, and you remember who you are. Nobody will, you have to look in the mirror and know who I am. And don't let any of that other negativity, naysayers, just get them out of your life and be around people who truly see the best in you.
With that,
yes,
we are wrapped.
Thank you. Hi! This is another one of my sweet friends. Oh my gosh,
this is going to be fun.
Oh, thank you, Toya.
You're welcome. Before you dive in, I'm going to say one quick
Do
thing.
Should
This
I
is
sit?
just housekeeping.
Okay.
Okay. I will be bolting out the back door because, as you know, we had severe weather last night, and
Which I flew into.
Work has texted me at least 3 times. Do you know what time you're going to be in? So, do not take it as a sign of that I would love to meet each and every one of you in this room and not have to go to work. But if you see me disappear, it's not because I'm ghosting you. Okay.
We gotcha. We gotcha.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you,
Thank
Toya,
you.
for the amazing discussion. We're so filled.
Thank you. Thank you. Amazing. Do we get up?
What?
Do we get up? Yes. You want us to leave?
No, you stay.
I stay.
You
oh,
have to
okay.
stay.
I have to
No,
stay.
I'll stay. You stay. I'll
Okay.
stay
Should I
until.
sit, stand? Should we dance?
We could do all of
Okay,
those.
okay. I don't know. I love it. Krista and I went to school together
We
too.
did.
We were Lance Blue Angels.
Oh, yeah. Let's just jump right to the pictures.
Okay. Oh
Should we
God.
do
Oh
this?
God.
Oh, should we do this?
Oh, I'm staying.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that hair.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I just say, late 80s, 90s was the worst hair in the history of humankind. The worst hair. You don't know how much Aquanet that took.
That took a lot. I think Lance Junior High School in Kenosha, Wisconsin actually kept Aquanet in business all
Yes,
those years.
we did, for sure.
For sure. Next picture we have.
That was me. By the way, that
Okay.
was me. I was giving my speech to be president of student council.
There's a
So I
big
was a
surprise.
Oh, look at us.
Oh, yep. There's me over on the left.
I don't know if you
Kendra's
can
neck
see
up in the
any of
middle.
us with all the hair.
Yep. Oh, yeah. That's
Yes.
us. Good times, big
Oh my
hair.
gosh.
What can you say?
I love it.
It's
I love
awesome.
it so much.
Awesome.
I love it.
Awesome. So before we let Kendra go, we have a number of special announcements to make with everyone tonight. We certainly heard a lot about her commitment to giving back to the community, her passion for philanthropy, and the $5 million she's given already alone in 2018 to over like 8,000 organizations. Like what can, in 1 year, Kendra? In 1 year, that's amazing, amazing. TEMPO Milwaukee is so honored to be one of those organizations, and we, TEMPO Milwaukee, also love to give back and further support Kendra's passion for philanthropy. Since 1990, our Milwaukee TEMPO Foundation has been making an impact on our community by providing educational opportunities for undergraduate students in support of the TEMPO Milwaukee Mentor Award. In 2018, we expanded that impact with our first ever continuing education grant where we gifted over $25,000. Okay, again, in 1 year, 2000, pretty impressive stuff what women can do in 1 year. So today, our TEMPO Milwaukee Foundation is providing Kendra Scott with, drum roll please, a $15,000 donation for the charity of your choice.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Thank you.
So thank you again, Kendra.
Oh
for
my
all
gosh.
the
Well,
gifts.
it will stay right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So
my God.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
That's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing all of your gifts with us today, with the audience, with Milwaukee. I think Brene Brown captures the essence of you so well when she talks about gratitude and joy in your journey that you've shared with us. I think one of the best quotes she says is, "Joy collected over time fuels resilience, and people with the greatest resilience practice gratitude." Thank you for the joy, the positivity, the kindness, the everything that you've shared with us. You're truly an inspirational leader. Your brilliance and resilience are twofold, and I'm so honored that you're my
You're gonna
friend.
make me cry, Krista. I'm sorry.
Who brought her?
It's gonna cry over there. So we're gonna turn the page a little bit and have a few more special announcements. The gifts from Kendra just keep giving. In fact, we have 80 lucky attendees in this audience. So if everyone would pick up their program booklets and turn to page 14. If you have a beautiful Kendra Scott gold sticker on page 14 of your program, can I see some hands here? Ooh. Oh yeah. Yay! Oh, we got one over here.
That's so exciting.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love that my family is like digging for it. I'm like, you guys are good. I'll get you something. Don't worry, Mom. She's like, do I have a gold sticker? You're so cute. I can't handle you.
Who's all the lucky winners? Raise up your books. Awesome.
Woo!
Kendra is giving you a beautiful signature piece of jewelry. Just bring your book to the registration table as you're leaving today.
Free jewelry! Woo!
And one final surprise. Did everyone have a chance to visit the Female Entrepreneur Showcase? Yeah? Okay, awesome. So it's going to be somebody's day, maybe month, maybe year, but it is going to be epic because you had a chance to win a color bar party for you and 4 of your friends at the Kendra Scott store out in Brookfield Corners. This tiny piece of paper in my hand holds that person's name. Kendra, would you like the honors?
Oh, good. Yes. Okay, Andrea Elser. Andrea Elser. You get a color bar party. Woo! Woo!
Awesome. Awesome, Andrea. So before we leave, I'd like to once again thank our sponsors for making today's event possible, to David Caruso and Dynamic Events, and Toya Washington for the great conversation.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And a special thank you to our premier sponsor, BMO Harris Bank. We'd also like to thank the event committee and the members for their generosity, commitment, their great ideas. It was so fun to work beside each of you. And a special thank you to the TEMPO Milwaukee A-Team. All right, we're going to give them a huge round of applause. Jen Dirks, Mara Harm, Mara, Kelsey, and Amanda, thank you so much. You've made this event absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And that's it. On behalf of the TEMPO Milwaukee Committee and our distinguished guests, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's program, to being a part of the 2019 leadership event, and as we continue to promote TEMPO's mission to advocate, accelerate, and elevate women in our community and with our great leaders, we will remember Kendra's messages of brilliance and resilience. Have a wonderful and joyful day.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.